Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Parasite, a Korean drama from 2019 that was directed by Joon-ho Bong and stars Kang-ho Song. Yes, I finally got a chance to see this movie. But going into it, I was still a bit skeptical, despite the high critical acclaim, given this director's recent efforts. If you've seen my review of Okja on this channel, you may remember that in that video, I observed that his messages were becoming less nuanced, but more heavy-handed. For example, I enjoyed Snowpiercer quite a bit, but one of the problems I had with that film was its heavy-handed and cartoonish method of hammering home its message. Okja suffered, I believe, even more so from that same problem, because the antagonists were pure caricatures. They were like cartoon characters, you know what I mean? So going into Parasite, I was legitimately concerned that Bong's messages in his films were beginning to supersede the actual filmmaking quality in terms of importance for him. But most thankfully, that problem did not arise very much in Parasite because the overall quality of this film is pretty fantastic. This is certainly a return to form for this director, and it's his best film since Mother from back in 2009. So that is a gigantic positive just right out of the gate. But what is this film about? Well, the film begins with a family of four, and we see the financial plights of these characters right from the start. So, for example, they attempt to piggyback some Wi-Fi access from nearby businesses, and they build pizza boxes for low earnings. Things are not exactly going well for them. Even early on at one point, some fumigators outside their window doing the street areas and nearby homes, and they actually open the windows to get some free fumigation into their home because they're having a bug problem. So yeah, it's not going too well. However, fortunately for them, the son knows a rich acquaintance who is studying abroad. He's going to study abroad, and he's got his eye on a love interest, a young girl. But he doesn't want her falling in love with anyone else while he's gone, so he gets this poor kid to tutor her while he's gone overseas, and to kind of protect her from other suitors. So the son of this poor family agrees to do this. He visits a rich family's home. They're the Park family, and he impresses the mother with a fictional history and fake qualifications that he made up. So he gets the tutor job. And then soon after that, he recommends his sister to teach art to the younger son of the Park family. But of course, he doesn't tell the Park family that they're related. So this is how the poor family gradually invade the rich family's household. They essentially take job positions within or around the home. That's the basic premise of the film. Now, for a drama that's over 2 full hours long, Parasite grabs your interest immediately and holds it throughout. So everyone online that I've seen is really kind of focusing on the social commentary and themes. But the big positive for me specifically was the extensive multidimensionality of the characters. This poor family is actually quite clever, and the rich family is not demonized or made into caricatures, unlikable caricatures, you know what I mean? So that's good. Also, there's a lot of subtle psychological manipulation by this poor family that is really neat to watch. I mean, the methods they use to take positions within the Park household are pretty interesting, the way they worm their way in, and in some cases kind of push some other people out to make way for them. It's pretty cool. And when you think about it, though, they are performing legitimate services for this family, despite the fact that they misrepresent their qualifications in history. So it kind of makes me think if Bong was kind of taking a shot at certain professions such as, art therapy that charge high rates, but provide a service that anyone off the street could master with limited research. That's another little thing that I kind of got out of this. Possibly. It's a possible a statement that he's making. So there's also quite a bit of visual communication and symbolism here. I will definitely need multiple viewings, though, to really dig into this, because there were certain things that popped out at me. but other things that I'm sure I missed. For example, like the camera movement and placement of the camera and stuff like that was pretty important in certain scenes, and I kind of got that. There's also this big stone that's represented or introduced early in the film. It's kind of like a present to this family, and it makes its appearance at certain like pivotal points throughout the film. So I found that to be kind of interesting as well. I think I watched an interview with Bong who said like that type of thing is not common in Korea, that type of present, and he wanted to introduce it to be like kind of a strange thing for people to pay attention to throughout the film. So that was pretty interesting as well. So I think I got some of the obvious stuff in the first viewing, but I bet you I'll be able to find some of the more specific little nuances even more so after a second viewing. So I really think there's a lot of content to unpack with this film. So repeat viewings I think are essential. Now, to no one's surprise, there is some genre bending on display, which is typical for this director. He does it very well here, and the story flows very naturally, despite the shifts in tones and genres that it goes through. Another thing that needs to be emphasized is that I really think that this film has the best, or one of the best, ensemble acting performances like of the past few years. If you take everybody in the film and you take everybody's level of acting, like there is high level acting from almost everybody in the film. It's actually kind of ridiculous, and it's loaded with great performances. I mean, Kang-ho Song is in top form as usual. He's kind of doing his thing. At this point in his career, I think we kind of take him for granted. You know what I mean? We just expect just a great performance from the guy every time, and most of the time that's what he gives us. Sun-kyun Lee is one of my favorite actors, Korean or otherwise. I mean, I'll watch this guy in anything. He's very proficient here. One of my favorite scenes in the film occurs after he finds a pair of panties in the back seat of his car, and he talks to his wife about it. And he goes through a series of logic at interpreting the meaning behind the presence of these panties. And it's pretty freaking hilarious. It's like one of my favorite scenes of the film, because it actually is quite logical. And he was kind of a step ahead of me, and I was like, where's he going with this? And I was like, actually, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So that, he's good in this. So-dam Park also made an impression on me. I've seen her a few times before in movies like Silenced, the 2015 one, and The Priests, which also came out in 2015, I believe. She's good in those movies, but in Parasite, she plays the daughter of the poor family. In this film, though, she has a very, like a smooth persona that I really liked. It's almost like a character wants to be in control a lot of the time. She does very good. She's very good at this. Something about her, it makes you want to see what she's doing when she's on screen. I got to put her on my radar because she has serious potential for the future, and I think she's got some great performances ahead of her for us to enjoy. But I think the standout performance in this film, if I had to choose one, is Yeo-jeong Cho, who plays the mother of this rich Park family. She has like a perfect balance of likable gullibility, I guess I would call it. It needs to be seen to be believed. I think she's really good in this. I thought she was pretty fantastic, and I have to look out for her too in future projects, because I'm not that familiar with her as an actress either. There's something about this that, like, I don't know, she's just got that likable gullibility, man. She was really good. So overall, I mean, Parasite is a very solid movie from top to bottom, and I'm kind of glad that it's receiving so much attention online. People who rarely watch Korean movies at all are actually watching this and reviewing it, which is pretty good, pretty cool. It is still playing in some theaters, which is how I saw it. So if you have not seen it, check it out. I strongly recommend it. And, you know, some people are saying that it's going to win Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars, but I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. But it's got a shot, which is pretty exciting for fans of Korean cinema. And I'm sure it's going to be on a physical release or streaming release at some point, probably early next year. So look out for this if you have not seen it already. Although I get the impression I'm one of the last people who has been able to see it. And as always, I'll see you next time.